Hi, my name is Barbara Grantham, and I was a graduate of the MPA program at Carleton in 1987. And I lived in Ottawa doing my master's from 1985 to 1987. Loved my time in Ottawa and at Carleton. And what I valued about that time, there were probably a couple of things. One was the environment in the school at that time was really encouraging a person to think out loud. All of the classes, the way in which profs walked the halls, the way in which we were encouraged to speak our minds, the way in which informal and formal times were structured was all about encouraging people to think out loud and to push their own theories and thinking, and to not be afraid to do that in a as metaphor in an out loud kind of a way. The other thing that I remember really clearly from that time was the incredibly positive dynamic between profs and students. Really open, really rich, really forthcoming, really fun, really informal, but also very, very respectful. So I look back very, very fondly on that time. I came back to Vancouver in 1987 after I finished and started looking for a job with my very freshly minted, beautiful graduate degree in a little frame, and found that opportunities were wanting. The government was really downsizing in BC again, and there weren't any opportunities really of any magnitude for me. And so I found myself quite by accident working in the nonprofit sector in a tiny little part-time contract that led to another little part-time contract that ended up with me landing a sort of semi-permanent job sometime in 1988 with the United Way of the Lower Mainland here in Vancouver. And that, very unknowingly at the time, really launched me on a career in what we loosely call the nonprofit sector, the charitable sector, the third sector, but in very broad terms also the public sector in terms of working for the public good, working for the common good. And so I've had remarkable good fortune over a 25-year career of working in some absolutely wonderful organizations, starting with United Way and including hospital foundations, community foundations, and I did a fairly long stint, close to 12 years, with my own consulting business, building up my own company while my kids were growing up. I draw upon what I learned in the MPA all the time. I draw upon the courses, I draw upon the analytical perspective that it gave me, but mostly what I draw upon is the way it taught me how to think, the way it taught me how to analyze an issue or a problem, unpack it, synthesize it, and then work usually with a team of really talented, smart, committed people in finding a way forward, whether it's an issue around a public policy issue or a community well-being issue or a granting and a funding issue. I'm now the president and CEO of the VGH and UBC Hospital Foundation here in Vancouver. I work with a phenomenal team of 50 people. We are the philanthropic partner to Vancouver Coastal Health. Last year we raised over $61 million to do phenomenal things in the area of patient care, research, teaching, education, and capital improvements for healthcare all over British Columbia to better the health outcomes of British Columbians. So I'm in an extraordinary fortunate position, and Carleton is one of the reasons that I'm here. Thanks, Carleton.